question is about the power-ups. There's a good difference about power-ups for example, other games that are going to be released maybe in the same period of split-second velocity. I mean, I found that there's a great difference and innovation in them. I mean, there's nothing like, throwing bullets or something like that, which I think that we have already seen in many different games and so on.
Yeah.
There's something completely different. So it's not a power-up, it's the power to change the complete environment.
Yeah.
And I want to know if, how many kind of power-ups do you have like this? I mean, I saw different changes, for example, changing of routes, helicopters shooting bullets.
Yeah.
What else?
You mean what type of power plays? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the environment. So we've got a massive city and it's broken up into 5 distinct environments, you could say. So one's docks, one's airport, one's downtown. And then all the power plays are basically based as if they're realistic and within those environments. So downtown will have lots of exploding buildings, will have lots of cars going in your way. It might have a construction area where you've got a crane that might swing around because it's building a new building. Docks then is more relevant to a seaside, so there's ships, there's swinging cranes that pick up things.
Yeah, I went on a route on the ship, it was amazing.
It's really good fun. So it's hard to say how many we have because we've got so many based upon the environments, really.
Okay. Another question about different game challenges. I mean, race and survival. Are there any other types of game, or
yeah? So that's one of the things we
can you spoil something about them, or?
Well, so there's 6 game modes in total. We can speak about 3. We're going to announce 3 more in the next couple of weeks. The first one's race, which is traditional race, but we've got power plays. Second one is time trial, which you would have played before, but our way is different in that you're racing around one lap of an environment and everything's blowing up around you. So you have to figure out how to get around the track quickest and figuring out where the power plays are and where best to drive in order to minimize the impact of the power, really. And then we've also got survival, which is an 18-wheeler truck trying to destroy you with exploding barrels and drone cars. The other 3 are extremely different. So where survival is something never been done before, we've got another 2 which again have never been done before, and most people will sit there going, where'd you get that from? That's insane. Okay. And then another one's traditional, but again with the split-second take on it.
Okay. After that, I want to know the different types of vehicles we'll have to drive.
Sure.
Which kind?
So we got 3 classes. That's the muscle cars, which are traditional American powerful vehicles with V8 engines. They're more of a car that you use on normal tracks, quick, good to drift around corners. And then we also have supercars, which are a lot quicker. They slide around the corners a bit more, and they might die quicker, so you've got to choose which one you think's best. The final class is the trucks. Trucks are bigger, stronger, they don't turn as quick, but they do have some quick acceleration. But then power plays don't affect them nearly as much.
So we'll really be given the opportunity to drive also trucks?
Yes, so there's a massive use in there's a good reason to use each one of them. The game modes are also based around the different vehicles, so trucks might be really good for time trial. And so it's you figuring out what best to use and when.
So it's also arcade, but also based on some sort of strategy, I mean.
There is, yeah. There's lots of strategy in the game.
So,
and the joy is figuring out which cars, because each car has its own handling model, each one feels differently, and it gets better and better as you progress. So there's going to be a reason to use every car. It's not one of these racing games where you get your favorite 2 or 3 and you use them till the end. As you progress, the cars will get much, much better.
And for what concerned, are going to be there some kind of weather changes or something like that?
Yeah.
For example?
We don't have weather changes, but we're very keen to do different times of day. One of the things we did was watch lots of Hollywood action movies just to make sure we could, or when we were making the game, to get the best parts out of these. And in every movie, there's always a very particular time of day. When you're racing through a storm drain, for instance, in the movies, it's always late at night, and there's always youngsters, and the girl throws down the flag. And so we're trying to recreate a lot of that at the moment. In the airport terminal, for instance, you'll notice it's set traditional LA, and then the sun's about to set, and it's really glaring. So we're doing things a lot around time of day, so dusk, dawn, morning, late afternoon, and we're trying to accentuate all the lighting that goes with that. We don't have individual rain effects or anything that go on it, but we do have water effects depending on where you're racing.
What about multiplayer? How many people can challenge it together?
So there's 8 players online through Xbox or PS3. It depends on the game mode you're using, but not all game modes are online, but a lot of them are. And there's a lot of online leaderboards, so things like survival. one of the big things is making sure that you get the highest score. So you're going to upload your score onto the PS3 or 360 network and compete against your friends, basically, to see who's the best.
Is there any kind of difference between game modes on single player or multiplayer?
Not all of them are multiplayer because of the game style. I don't want to go too much into that because we haven't announced everything. But it does depend on the game mode, yes. We do imagine that race is going to be one of the most popular, but I think the other game modes have reasons to also be online, so it will be used. I think there's going to be distinct differences between what people want to do, really.
Okay, thank you for your time.
No worries.
That was my last question.
Hope everyone enjoys the game.